Hackers know what you did last summer. Dropbox employees get dropped. Save 15% or more on your distributor invoice. These stories and much more on today's episode of MSP Dispatch.
This episode is presented by MSP GeekCon 2023, a conference for MSPs by MSPs. Occurring May 21st through the 23rd, 2023 in Orlando, Florida, this two-day event is built around the journey of technical growth from Tier 1 to Tier 3. Visit mspgeekcon.com for more information.
Good morning and welcome to the May 2nd episode of MSP Dispatch, your source for news, community events, and commentary in the MSP channel. I'm Ray Orsini, joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Tony Francisco. How you doing, Tony?
Excellent, brother. Excellent. How are you doing? Good weekend? Talk to me.
Good weekend. Everything's in fleek. Everything's in the yellow. And I got a new surprise to show you, but don't worry, Kelly. I know Kelly watches this. I'm not going to ask you to buy anything. You want to see something really cool?
Yes, please. I'm going on Amazon right now. What is it?
No. Check out this video. Hold on. Hi, I'm Ray Orsini.
Hi, I'm Tony Francisco.
And we're the hosts of MSP Dispatch. Tuesdays and Fridays, we come to you with a full 30-minute episode. But now, starting on Monday, May 1st, we're going to be here all week long doing 60-second shorts on YouTube Shorts and TikTok with the top news of the day. So please follow us on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and your favorite places. That's right. So we're finally on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and we're doing both because we know there's a not insignificant amount of our audience that refuses to go on TikTok for whatever reasons. I get that. That's fine. It's going to be the same content on YouTube and YouTube Shorts and on TikTok throughout the entire week. We're going to be giving you little 60-second spots of stories. Some of it that is covered on Dispatch, some of it that is point in time and isn't covered on Dispatch. But the idea is you can get more of the news you want all the time. How cool is that?
So just to be clear, we're already, what was it, the second most popular podcast or in the MSP, the channel in the MSP community, which is me. Now we're going to be on TikTok and have to wear YouTube Shorts. Is that what you said? We have to wear?
Yes, we have to wear YouTube Shorts and TikTok tank tops.
Oh, easy. TikTok and YouTube Shorts. MSP Dispatches everywhere.
There you go. And if you see Tony in person at MSP GeekCon, May 21st through 23rd, go ahead and ask him about his special tank tops, and that'll be a fun story at the bar. But for now, I think we got some news to get to. What do you think?
Let's get into the news.
And my first top story on security, SolarWinds hackers had access to DHS's Hunt and Incident Response platform, written by Lily Hay Newman for Wired.com. For those of you that remember the SolarWinds hack, a massive cyber attack that affected numerous organizations, including the U.S. government, hackers behind the SolarWinds attack had access to the Department of Homeland Security's Hunt and Incident Response platform, which is used to track and respond to cyber threats. It's a concerning development because it means that hackers were able to monitor the DHS's efforts to investigate and mitigate the effects of the attack. In addition, the article notes that DHS's response to the SolarWinds attack was also slowed down by the fact that the agency was also a victim of the attack. The SolarWinds hack is a stark reminder of the need for increased cybersecurity measures and vigilance. As MSPs, it's our responsibility to stay on top of the latest threats and vulnerabilities to take steps to protect ourselves and our clients. This includes implementing strong security protocols. Tony, what are your thoughts about the SolarWinds hack? I mean, it's one thing for the client to get hacked. It's one thing for the tool and supply chain to get hacked, but now the platform used to monitor the hacks are getting hacked. This is some Inception shit, dude. I don't even know what to
say. I've talked about this before, and one of the things I've talked to my employees about is, and I'm very upfront, I get the turds out on the table with my team. Everyone's looking for clear communication, so this is the time for that transparency. If I, as an executive, am putting out fires, the last thing I need to do is turn around and seeing that someone is setting the fire truck on fire. Sorry, that was dolphins there. I don't need someone to set the fire truck on fire while I'm putting out fires. I've got too many other things to worry about. So if the platform that is actually monitoring for attacks is being attacked, we've talked about this so many times, going upstream. How much further upstream are we talking about here?
So, but here's an interesting theory. There's at least one vendor in the MSP space, and I'm not going to name names because I want to be unbiased and vendor agnostic. But there's at least one vendor in the MSP space that says MSPs cannot monitor themselves. I personally have my own opinions on the subject, but this kind of puts that into light, right? Like the DHS is monitoring itself, but DHS was the one compromised. I'm all for getting the best expert to do the best job possible. I don't know. Can MSPs monitor themselves? Is this a point for having a third party SOC or somebody else keeping an eye on it?
So I would consider this to be almost a timeless statement. One of the most dangerous things, and this is ambiguous, one of the most dangerous things is a self-assessment. It becomes an echo chamber of X. Now, you define what X is. It's kind of like alcohol. It just amplifies the inner person. We all know people that become not really nice after a few drinks. Well, they're not really nice inside. We all know people, well, let's just say me. I become funnier and more self-deprecating after a few drinks. That is what certain things do. It amplifies who you are. I think self-assessment does the exact same thing. It becomes an echo chamber of, look how amazing we are. But look, you're not looking at the colors that you cannot see. Maybe you can't see ultraviolet colors, but other people can. And that's almost an acknowledgement of your lack of skills. And nobody wants to acknowledge that they cannot do everything. Well, at least their specialty, right? They're the best.
So if I want to taste the rainbow, I need to hire a third-party SOC. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you're going to taste something if you don't have it done correctly.
That's a whole other episode. Maybe that's a conversation for Tech Bar. But no, I'm with you though. That's kind of the problem, right? You're right. Nobody wants to feel stupid. Like, as an MSP, I used to see it all the time. People would submit tickets, and I worked. Most of my MSP clients were in the regulated spaces. So anybody with a monkey on their back, right? Anybody had like a HIPAA, FINRA, FERPA, SOX, FDA. Those are all my wheelhouse. And these were very intelligent people. These are licensed, well-educated, very highly experienced people. And when they would submit a ticket, you would see, I'm sure it's an easy thing, but I'm having this problem. And they say that because they don't want to make it sound like, they don't want to make it sound like they're stupid, right? Like nobody wants to feel like you're stupid, but the smartest thing you do is recognize when somebody else is the better person to handle the job, right? Like I'm a firm proponent of that. Let's be honest. We have all these amazing people that work for us and make MSP Dispatch is what it is. And like you said, number 2 show followed by MSPs per the report put out by Syncro MSP with their survey of 603 MSPs. Awesome. We'll link to that whole report in the show notes so you can go look at it. Lots of our friends are there. Shout out to Dave Sobel, Carl Palachuk, Tom Lawrence. All of our friends are there. It's awesome. And you know what? All of those amazing people, both inside MMN and outside, would never get replaced with AI, right? Like nobody would ever do that, right, Tony?
Wasn't that I don't even know how to handle this one. Coming up in our next story from Business about Dropbox, the popular file hosting services from channelede.com. According to an article on Channel EDE, Dropbox is planning to lay off 500 employees, or roughly 11% of its workforce, in an effort to redirect its investment towards artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies. Dropbox CEO Drew Houston explained in a blog post that the company is making these changes to improve its core product offering and to position itself for long-term growth. The layoff will primarily impact the company's sales and marketing team, and Dropbox is offering affected employees severance packages and other forms of support. As MSPs, we understand the challenges of staying competitive in an ever-evolving business landscape. It's important to be agile and adaptable and to embrace new technologies and strategies as they emerge. We wish the best for the affected employees and hope that Dropbox's investment in AI and machine language will ultimately lead to greater success for the company. Ray, I have so many questions, but let's just get it out of the gate. What are your thoughts on Dropbox's decision to lay off employees and focus on AI and machine language?
So I don't know how early in they got into this. I know for us, for the public, AI is what, 7, 8? I know AI is not 7 or 8 months old, but AI in the main stage, AI where it's a common, in the common vernacular, AI where everybody's talking about it, 7, 8 months, right? Thereabouts. And so I was looking at an article today that was presented to us by David Suspiner of Servant Voice. And it was a story talking about, with all the work around AI, nobody wants to be the next Oppenheimer. For those that don't know the story, Robert J. Oppenheimer, chief architect of the atom bomb, chief architect behind the Manhattan Project, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. He is very well known. Besides being the architect of these projects, he has a couple statements that are a couple phrases that are very popular. One is "I am become death." The other one, my favorite, is "Genius sees the answer before the question." But the whole point to this is, Oppenheimer, after he started doing this, he realized how dangerous it was, and he deeply regretted it for the rest of his life. He regretted being the father of these projects. And so with OpenAI, to go back to other great phrases, right? With great power comes great responsibility. I hope nobody has any uncles in poor health out there. But the point is this: I think it may be too early. And the reason I say I don't know when they got in early, because if they got in 10 years ago in AI, maybe they have enough data to determine, do we need real people? Do we need AI or ML doing this job? If they just got into it in the last year or two, there is no way in hell they have enough data to say we can replace a human. Look, I've started to use OpenAI for our scripts. I've been training it for weeks on how to structure scripts, on what elements I want, what elements I don't want, what kind of voice to do it in. And it's still not perfect. I still have to, fix it up here and there. The end goal is eventually at some point it'll be perfect or close to it. I can't imagine how to say I'm going to get rid of 500 employees because I'm going to start letting AI and ML do their jobs. I don't know. This to me seems a little short-sighted. What's your take, Tony?
I think we are very much in the infancy of artificial intelligence, but I also want to point out another factually, statistically relevant point in line with what you just said. So for the record, the Nobel Peace Prize, which we all understand, it was invented by Alfred Nobel, ironically, to undo the bad PR after he invented dynamite. He did not want to be remembered for inventing something that killed people. And for the most part, his plan worked. So the question is, what is the next evolutionary process from somebody who implements? Maybe is OpenAI, the founders of ChatGPT, are they going to create something better to distract and evade the legacy of potentially negative publicity, or are they going to be attached so well to the massive evolution of automation that we're experiencing right now? We're on the precipice of that particular part. But when it comes to Dropbox, I'm fascinated to see where they're going to go. They have not announced anything. They made it very clear what their direction is. I think the impact of the layoffs is going to have a drastic effect on the overall market as a whole. I think their channel strategy is going to be affected, if there ever was a channel strategy for the MSPs. I don't know MSPs that are saying Dropbox is the everything. It used to be a long time ago, but they've completely omitted the channel strategy from their feature, and I don't expect that to grow anytime soon. So just my thoughts, but Ray, it would be really cool if we moved on to something a little bit more in our wheelhouse, like architecture, like DNS, like information passing back and forth, good stuff, right?
You know what? This is actually one of those times where I get to combine two things. One, it's not DNS. There's no way it's DNS. It was DNS. But no, this is actually good news. So those of you that were watching on Reddit this past weekend, there's been a few Reddit threads where people were complaining because those of you who use DNSFilter, a popular DNS filtering tool for MSPs, they have two billing models. They have a model where they charge per query, and they have a model where they charge per user. The per query is based on X amount of queries is expected to be per user, but you pay an aggregate. Once DNSFilter joined Pax8's distribution line card, however, a bunch of those DNSFilter users were getting surprised because Pax8 was billing under the per query model. As many of the people in the thread pointed out, when you use RMM agents, when you use other monitoring tools, they're pinging back to the home base several hundred or thousands of times a day per endpoint. So it is not typical DNS usage of your average office user or average remote worker. So for MSPs specifically, which is what DNSFilter is made for, it kind of puts them at a disadvantage. In going back, now I want to point out the CEO of DNSFilter jumped into the thread and noted that it was a mistake. He said that it was an errant billing practice that was given to Pax8 by DNSFilter, by an employee who's no longer there, and they understand that MSPs prefer the per user model, and he's going to make efforts to make sure that's corrected. Whether those users that got errant bills or overcharged previously, whether they're going to get credits or not, is still to be determined. But I will mark this as a win for the MSP community, because the CEO acknowledged it was a mistake and is making corrections. There's not a lot, being a moderator of our MSP, there's not a lot of times where I get to walk away from a thread with a vendor and say, yay, we won. But in the work for MSPs on this specific thread, good job, DNSFilter. I'm proud of you. I appreciate that. Tony, we don't see that often, right? We see the bitching about vendors pretty often. We see the bitching about sales and stuff. But for those that are in the community, the MSPs and the vendors that participate in the community, many times you can walk away for the better, right? I don't know. What's your take on this, Tony?
I say two things. Very specifically, huge tip of the hat to the CEO jumping in saying, hey, we messed this up. It was our fault. And so what's happening right now is they're on the back end, just so everyone knows, acknowledgement is the first component. So I consider there to be three parts of, let me rephrase that. There's the two parts that everyone sees. There's the apology and there's the receipt of the apology. So please, please, please understand to the MSP community that if you're a kid and you go up to your friend, hey, I'm really sorry about that earlier, and your friend says, hey, screw you, I don't want to talk to you anymore, you're probably never going to apologize to anyone ever again in your life, okay? But if it's received well, you're probably going to apologize more, at least acknowledge the mistake. So there is the apology itself from the MSP community. Give a tip of the hat, but we're all still waiting for the resolution. But then the three parts are on the back end after the sincere apology, which is a critical part of that, is what can I do to make it better? And here are the steps that I'm taking so it doesn't happen again. So I'm kind of waiting for that, kind of the reason for outage, or for lack of a better term. But huge tip of the hat to the CEO to acknowledging that. The second thing I'm seeing, frankly, is not a lot of hostility from the MSP community, which goes full circle back to the bidding part of, you acknowledged it. Thank you. Hey, can you just take care of our bill though? Can you work this out?
I mean, kudos, you get a surprise bill and you notice it and you bring it up immediately. And, to their credit, there were a few threads on this, a few posts, a few people had reached out to Pax8 and Pax8 said, that's the model. And it was something like they were equating the Pax8. Now it's not on Pax8. Pax8 is following the billing model they have posted on their platform, and it says 5,000 queries per user. But as noted in the thread, 5,000 queries go through like that. I don't need to tell you your RMS reaches out constantly. If you're running ping plotter, if you're running anything out, like they're polling often.
All the time. Yeah, the cron jobs are running polling. You have not just the original poll, but you also have the acknowledgement poll. So there's anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're that guy like me, I had to automate running speed tests on the user's network every hour. Yeah, well, because that way I could see degradation and whatever. Yeah, so that would have hurt me a little bit. But MSPs, let us know if you knew about this or not, because every once in a while we'll post to Reddit and somebody will say, why am I only finding out about this through MSP Dispatch? So I want to know if you knew about it or if you didn't, and what your take on it. Let us know in the comments or in Discord.
You know why they just found out? Because we're the second most popular tool set for the MSP community to find information. Second most.
That's true.
Second most.
You know what else those people love? The notables.
Let's do it. Jumping in my first notable from bleepingcomputer.com, Microsoft Windows 10 22H2 is the final version of Windows 10. Microsoft has announced that Windows 10 version 22H2 will be the final release of the Windows 10 operating system. As the company shifts its focus to Windows 11, Microsoft will continue to provide support and updates for Windows 10 until October 14th, 2025. The decision marks an end of an era, as Windows 10 was initially marketed as the last version of Windows. Users are encouraged to upgrade to Windows 11 and take advantage of the new features, improved performance, and enhanced security while ensuring long-term support for their systems. And my next notable mention from TechCrunch.com, which is a follow-up from April 4th, 2023, ChatGPT, the AI-based conversational agent, is resuming operations in Italy after a temporary suspension. The service was initially halted due to concerns about its ability to comply with Italian regulations, particularly in relation to privacy and data protection. After working closely with local authorities and implementing necessary changes, ChatGPT has now addressed these concerns and is being relaunched in the Italian market. ChatGPT resuming services in Italy demonstrates the company's commitment to adapting to international regulations and providing compliant AI solutions for users around the world.
In my first notable mention, Microsoft announces changes to Windows Server licensing, written by Gareth Corfield for The Register. Microsoft has announced changes simplifying its licensing options for Windows Server by reducing the number of available editions from 8 to 3. The new licensing model will offer standard, data center, and essentials editions, each with different features and capabilities. The changes are aimed at providing a clearer and more streamlined licensing experience for customers. In my second notable mention, Amazon is building a more generalized and capable large language model to power Alexa, says CEO, written by Sharon Goldman of VentureBeat. Amazon is working to improve the natural language processing capabilities of its Alexa voice assistant. According to the article, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy announced during the company's recent earnings call that they are developing a new, more generalized and capable language model for Alexa. Jassy stated that the new model is designed to be more accurate and better at handling complex requests, such as those related to home automation and productivity. He also noted that the model is being built using large amounts of data and powerful computing resources. In our resource of the week, what's new in Microsoft 365 April 2023 edition on the website T-365. Among the changes to Microsoft 365, there are new productivity features in Teams, Excel, and PowerPoint, security enhancements including the addition of advanced threat protection capabilities to Microsoft Defender for Office 365, compliance updates including enhancements for data loss prevention and sensitivity labels in Microsoft 365, and they're introducing new tools and services to help users manage their digital identities to protect their personal information. The full story is in the links below in the show notes.
There are plenty of amazing upcoming events taking place across the community, so let's see what's happening this week. May 1st through the 4th, an in-person event, Channel Partners Conference and Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada. Also on May 1st through the 5th, another in-person event, IT Nation Evolve Q2 in Dallas, Texas. And on May 3rd at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, Build It Better MSP discussion presented by Everything MSP. And coming from the MSP Media Network this week, in case you missed it, we had the Tech Bar Podcast episode 57 with Kyle Christensen of K7 Leadership. On May 3rd at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Partner First, From Good to Great, improving customer experience and efficiency with chat and AI. And as always, on Tuesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, MSP Dispatch, presented by the MSP Media Network.
Hey there, if you are an MSP or an MSSP that is flirting with $1 million in revenue up to about $5 million in annual revenue, I want to give you a personal invitation to the Ultimate IT Growth Conference. It is coming up quickly, June 13 and 14 in Orlando, and we have some amazing speakers and amazing content lined up. Everything is workshop style so that you can actually walk away getting things done, not just getting additional content. I reveal some of my best hints, tips, tricks to grow your MSP and to mature the way that you think about growth. So please come. I would love to host you, and I hope to see you in Orlando.
So how'd you like today's show? If you liked it, hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, go ahead and hit it 3 times. And if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on YouTube or your favorite podcatcher. Did you know we also have a Discord where we post stories all week? And now YouTube and TikTok. You can propose your own stories and even vote on which ones we'll cover. As my friend Rich Banky says, make sure to tell a friend. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at MSP Media TV. Have any questions? Email news@mspmedia.tv for answers on the next episode, or leave us a voicemail, 833-MSP Network. All right, Tony, I bumbled through this. Maybe I should get replaced with AI. But we got to the end, so I'm going to call it a win.
I think it was great. I'm going to throw this out. Did you know that the green falling code in the Matrix is, because we all know what that is, it's actually just a lot of sushi recipes. I don't know why I just read that in all the news that I'm reading. That literally just came up. Go Google it right now. I can promise you our MSP community is saying that is absolutely not true. Oh my gosh, it is true. The Matrix code is literally just a bunch of sushi recipes with the letters mixed up and switched around. I am not
That's
joking.
awesome. So you brought this insane piece of knowledge. I learned that Jeff Bezos is not the CEO of Amazon anymore. We're all learning something, and in MSP Dispatch world, that's a win. So I think we should close it on a win, close it on a high note, and tell everybody we appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.
Be safe.
This has been a broadcast of the MSP Media Network.
Hackers know what you did last summer. Dropbox and so close. In my top security story, In my top security story, SolarWinds hackers had access to DHS's hunt and incident. Blah, blah. That's a lot of words. That's not easy to say. I don't do so well with the words. Probably picked the wrong job for this. All right. But for now, Tony, I'm supposed to segue to your next story, but I don't know what it is. So let me look at the show notes real quick.
And in my next notable mention from TechCrunch.com, ChatGPT, the AI-based, one more time. And in my next notable mention from TechCrunch.com, which is a follow-up from the MSP Dispatch story on, that was April. Sorry, one more time. The resumption of ChatGPT services in Italy demonstrates the resumption. Is that a word? Resumption. Okay. I will do this. Here we go.
My second notable mention, Amazon is building a more generalized and capable learning. Blah. According to the article, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy announced during the company's recent... Amazon changed their CEO?